Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 2 in the series between Gamma Nia's Slam, or Gamma Bears' Slam, and Yo IM's Has here on Whirlwind. Slam spawning as the red Zerg on the top left-hand side of the map. I will call this the 10 o'clock location. Meanwhile, has spawned as the red Protoss. PVZ once more on Whirlwind. This should be a very, very entertaining match, as Game 1 was perhaps one of the better games we've seen come out from the TESL. Now, I've read some of the comments from on the TESL games, and people are saying, you know what, not exactly MC play. Well, that was a complete mess up there. And yeah, that is true. It is not exactly MC play. These are not the creme de la, or the, summa cum laude or magna cum laude. These are not the absolute best players in the world, but the games are still very, very entertaining and often at a very high level. Always like to be able to glean information here as I am casting these games and figuring out what exactly these players are trying to go for. Now, Has this time around opening up with a gateway first. Not too out of the ordinary from what we've seen, and I do like a separate build from what we've seen in Game 1. Meanwhile, Slam this time opening up with a hatchery first, feeling fairly confident that he can go for a hatchery first on a map such as Whirlwind because of its size. Size of the map, the walking distances on the map, always very important, as we will most likely be seeing a Nexus followed up relatively quickly after Has perhaps started his cybernetics core. Let's see where all of this will be going to in just a moment. Has still has not set up his second assimilator yet. That does come as a bit of a surprise, as most of the times mothership core expansions do require that second assimilator relatively quickly in order to get that mothership core here. So this may just be a one gate expand and have that mothership core come out a bit later. Coming back, let's see if Slam has learned anything from his previous game. A lack of scouting really did slam in in the previous matchup, where he didn't see the 6 gateways at his opponent's front door. There's that mothership core, and actually delaying the mothership core coming in at just the right time. So Has really knowing his builds, getting that assimilator slightly earlier, and he will be forced to just train some zealots, as he won't have enough gas for sentries, at least for another 30 seconds. We'll see what will come of that, as the mothership core is making a maneuver out across the map, and Has already hiding some tech on the far side of the map. Now, what's interesting about this is that because of the location, because of the spawning locations, this particular pylon is never really going to get scouted out unless Zerglings scout out in a very, very wide pattern. Protoss players can easily afford to place a pylon across the map, knowing that it can most likely withstand the test of time just a bit, and we'll have to see what goes down there. Stargate would be a relatively strong option. No, it's going to be gateways. Oh, what is this? He is building gateways here and making it look like he is not having a lot of production buildings. This is another beautiful mind fake, as you can build gateways anywhere on the map that you so choose or please, and it doesn't really impact you negatively at all. Now, if it was going to be gateways, I would have assumed that the pylon should have been a little bit more further up here, so that you can place about 4 gateways instead of just a total of 2. That is a little bit of a mistake, but we'll see if Has would have really wanted to put any gateways down there anyways, as a scouting Zergling may come up to here, see that there is no Nexus, and really not scout behind the mineral line. Alright, it is going to be 3 gateways powering this army here in just a moment. No, 4 gateways powering this army. And my OCD is telling me that these gateways really should all be lined up. Why are they not all lined up off by two boxes there? Production tab, a warp gate, now getting upgraded on all of these gateways here. and now we should see a nice round of warp-ins. There is a nice round of warp-ins. It is going to be 4 Zealots now coming in with a second pylon already in position. Zealots now ready to go, and it looks as though that Queen may be doing a little bit of fighting back. Coming back over here, Mothership Core and Zerglings. Stalker trying to get away from those Zerglings, will not be able to get away as the Zerglings now going to try to get up the ramp. However, that is not going to work out well as the Zealots are already in position. Slam with Zerglings and Spine Crawlers should be able to fend off this attack pretty quickly. Zealots unable to do any serious cleanup whatsoever, as the Spine Crawlers and the Queens will fend off this attack. Has forced to recall with his units as there are now Zerglings inside his own base. Talk about a town portal home, and to clean up a defensive and offensive maneuver there, making sure to save his units while cleaning up the Zerglings that were inside his own base. Has in a bit of a pickle here. Worker supply now higher for Slam. Also army supply higher for Slam as Zerglings now trying to come in to engage again. But I believe Slam is actually pressing his luck here. He should just be trying to train up more workers and not trying to engage with Zerglings. If he tries to get more and more Zerglings in, the Protoss player is just too well defended, especially with that Mothership Core. And a Mothership Core with a Photon Overcharge could easily defend anything that Slam can throw at him right now. Oh, but has been scouted out. Zerglings have scouted out one of the 2 Stargates. That is important, but double Stargate is always very dangerous. Will we perhaps see Tempest or Carriers? I wouldn't put my money on it, but then again, it would be an absolutely entertaining game to say the least. No, it will be Phoenix play, as this one proxy pylon has been scouted out and will be shut down. This proxy pylon down over here to the south has yet to be discovered, as we now see this Overlord trying to run away, and it looks like it will be able to do exactly that. Double Phoenix production. And Overseer now making its way in, and is it going to back off in time? Yes, it does. Slam spots the single Stargate, but doesn't see the second one, so he may not get enough defense. Phoenix now flying around. We'll scout this out as we now see a macro hatch coming in from Slam. All right. For some reason, as I'm watching this replay, as I'm casting this game, it feels like Slam doesn't have that much focus. He doesn't have a definitive strategy that he's working towards right now. He's training up a lot of Zerglings, even though he knows his opponent has Phoenix production, and we're gonna see the Zerglings are gonna handle these Zealots pretty easily, and Zealots are pretty much a throwaway unit for Haj right now, so perhaps that's what he's hoping to do, just get enough Zerglings to handle any of this harassment. But more and more Zealots are still coming in, so the Zerglings, Zealots are currently sitting at 0-0 upgrades. Zerglings now going to try and counteract all of these Zealots here, so perhaps, yes, the Zerglings were a good idea, but now drones will all just simply get picked up. There you go, there's a bit of an engagement once more. Spine Crawler now getting in position as well. Zealots now trying to just warp their way in as Spine Crawlers are getting here. Let's see what's going to be happening next. Queen's now trying to get in some easy shots. Overlord's going to get picked off, and this attack will get stopped before it gets started, or really raring to go, as the Phoenixes now look to back off. Has, with a rather unimpressive army of just Phoenixes, as the Zerglings are once again going to try and test that front door, and it's not going to work. Oh, those Zerglings are going to be able to get in here, and that was a bit of a surprise, as the Zerglings now trying to get back up onto the high ground. The Mothership Core has not gotten over there yet. Will activate another Photon Overcharge, most likely, as the Zerglings are trying to get inside to take down all of these probes. Probes are going to be taking a bit of damage there. You can see that the shots are coming in, raining quickly, taking down Zergling after Zergling, as the Zerglings try to take down a pylon, and will be able to do exactly that. However, there are still Zerglings hiding off back over here, as a 4th base is coming in from Slam. 2 bases to 4 eventually. And is this a smart move? 67 drones versus 40 or 46 right now. 71 workers, as we are now looking at a 3rd base from Haz. So Slam making sure that he does not fall behind, now going into Infestors and also going into Tier 3. I am still at a loss for what exactly Slam's composition is. Zerg armies generally have a much more stronger ground presence. Roaches, Hydralisk, Zerglings have been the units or the go-to units of choice for most Zerg players. We don't see that particular unit composition at all, and now that has gotten a robotics facility and now is getting a robotics bay, things are going to get a little bit worse for him as well. He's not going to be able to really get up that Roach Hydralisk army if he ever wants to transition into that, because the Colossi will simply melt them far too quickly. Has now also going into double immortal production, so perhaps air would be the best unit at this choice, but no, instead we are going into an Ultralisk cavern. And does Slam know about these double robotics facilities? He should, if he actually bothered to click on them. You do not want such a large ground army, but then again, has double Stargates and also has double robotics facilities, so he's really covering the spectrum in terms of what he wants to go for. Now, we are seeing the Neuroparasite come into play. Perhaps that will make a big difference as Zerglings have made their way down here. One lone Zergling now working to finish off this set of gateways. Meanwhile, happening over here, Zerglings engaging against a couple of Zealots and Immortals. This is still a rather strange fight as we are just now getting level 1 weapons upgrade completed for the Protoss, and we just started level 3 Zerg melee upgrades for the Zerg. Zergling's going to finish off this gateway here relatively quickly. Apparently, the Zergling's all not too smart, not able to get in and surround this. Now, Phoenix is looking to come in. Oh, the fungal growth does land on a couple. And what is this? The Infestor simply getting a little bit too close here. And there you go, Infested Terrans coming in. There is another fungal growth coming in, as well as the fungal growths finish off many of the Phoenixes, and the air presence has now been removed completely. That is important, removing all of that air presence, as we are now going into Ultralisk with 2/2 upgrades. That armor on those Ultralisks will be very, very strong, especially once the chitinous armor has been completed. So we should have, I believe, 5, if not 6 armor on those Ultralisks in just a moment. Meanwhile, the Phoenix is still doing a bit of a flyby there as we are now transitioning into a Spire. Colossi will be coming in relatively shortly as the Phoenix does get shot down. There it goes. Ultralisk now willing to work together. Archons now coming in as well. Infestors need to land those Neuroparasites and really, really hit those Immortals. Those Immortals will be the key in taking down other units. The problem will be the Colossi and their impressive range, their 9 range. Zergling's Ultralisk now coming in. If Slam somehow loses this game, it will be an utter testament to how strong Has is. It really now looks like Slam has a good idea of what he's trying to go for. Ultralisk, Infestor, Zergling melee army. It's going to be very, very powerful, but he doesn't have the Spire up or Corruptors out to deal with the Colossi. 5 more gateways coming in. Has somehow getting in a lot of gateways, even though he's only operating on 3 bases. Will he be able to power all of them and really maximize their potential? Spine Crawlers now coming in at the 4th base. Slam wants to make sure a Zealot run by is not putting himself in danger, as we are now going into even more Ultralisk and even a 5th base. The main base is nearly mined out, so a 5th base is not out of the question. So far, though, Slam is sitting at maximum supply and is also starting to develop a bank. He needs to strike while the iron is hot, so to speak, and then trade. If he can trade his army even semi-efficiently, he will be able to re-macro back up and then engage once more. Alright, poor Probe walking into a sea of Ultralisk and getting taken down. Upgrades are completed. We are now going into Zerg. And are we going to see an engagement here? So many Ultralisks. 14 Ultras now ready to go, as we now see the Ultralisk. Where are they going to be going? They are now trying to come in for a flank. An Ultralisk just getting melted away now. Alright, are we going to see a Neuroparasite? What is going on? Yes, Neuroparasite on those Colossi, and the Colossi really fighting back here. Alright, Slam constantly sitting at 200 supply, has sitting at 102 right now, and still the Neuroparasite causing a bit of problems here. Alright, the Colossus now completely turned around, and Slam is absolutely owning Has. Has does not stand a chance, and there is the GG. Slam able to even up the series and take a point. Slam just allowing his macro to really, really carry him through. Slam was constantly playing for the late game, knowing that perhaps Has would just be able to get too many units. Neuroparasite, the clear victory there, as the Infestor was able to take control of a Colossus. We saw 3 or 4 Neuroparasites go down against the Colossus, splash damage against the Immortals, tearing away their shields relatively quickly. Once the Neuroparasite had worn off, the Ultralisks were already in position and within melee range on those Colossus with nothing to protect them. And once the Colossus was surrounded by Ultralisks, they just simply fell over. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 2 in this 2-game set, and I hope to see you guys on Battle.net.